There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino Is the Name, and in this video, we're going to talk about government contracts. So this video is going to be geared towards beginners. So we're going to answer the question, one, what are government contracts? Two is, where do you find government contracts? And three, what happens after you find them? Okay, so, all right, first is, now, I'm going to be honest. There is a lot to know, okay? So let's go to the beginning, all right? What are government contracts? Government contracts are basically the way the government gets things done, okay? It's the way they purchase services. It's the way they buy products. It's the way that they run the government. Outside of their general employees, they still need things, right? So let's say this is a human resources department. Human resources personnel may work for the government, but they need computers. They need office space. They need badges. They need equipment, printers. They need those things. So they have to purchase those things in order for their employees to actually do their job. So there's a constant need of contracts to continue going all the time. Now, let's say they have a human resources department, and in this human resources department, they hired GS employees to actually work there. But what happens when the plumbing in the restroom at that facility where the employees work messes up? They're going to probably get a contract so that somebody can come in and fix. A plumber would come into that human resources section to fix that situation. They probably won't just have plumbers necessarily on hand, unless, GSA might, or some agency may have something like that if they do building maintenance. But even then, more than likely, it's probably going to be a government contract that is contracting out that work. That's basically how government contracts work. They need pencils at a school, at a public school. That's a government facility. A school is a government facility. They need pencils for the students, so they're going to order in mass bulk tens of thousands of pencils or hundreds of pencils for their students, and that's a government contract. So you can be buying and selling services such as computers, masks, all sorts of things. The government is purchasing pretty much everything, okay? So that's what government contracts are, okay? And second would be, where do you find these government contracts? Where do you find them? And so where you find them will be basically based off of what kind of contract it is. See, there's multiple types of governments, such as federal, state, and local. All right. So you have federal contracts, and federal contracts is basically anything that, fall under the federal government, which, the president, Congress, all of those situations are federal contracts. The military is federal contracts. But then there's the state contracts, and then the state contracts are pretty much anything that falls under a particular state. So let's say it's 50 states, right? So 50 states, so there's 50 different state websites that have their own individual contracts. So you can see federal is worldwide. It can be in India or Africa. There's probably some government contracts from America over there because that's federal, like embassies or whatever. Those are federal contracts. Now, in, say, Georgia has federal buildings, employees, contracts, and all of that in the state of Georgia. They still fall under on the federal side. But then the state of Georgia, not federal, also has contracts. And so those contracts that the state of Georgia has are going to be listed on Georgia's state website. The federal contracts worldwide are going to be listed on sam.gov, no matter if they're in Georgia or wherever. They're going to be listed on sam.gov, so you can go to sam.gov and see these contracts. If you're going to look at Alabama, Alabama has state contracts that are not going to be on the Georgia state website, that are not going to be on sam.gov. They're going to be specific to each individual state, and those are going to be where you're going to find the state contracts. So you have the federal and you have the state. The federal is going to be on sam.gov. State is going to be based off of whatever the state is. Georgia State Procurement Office, you're going to see their contracts. Alabama, Mississippi, New York, wherever, you're going to see their contracts listed on their state website. All right. And then the third level would be the local level, which would be county and city. So let's say you have federal contracts in Georgia, and then you have the state of Georgia contracts, right? And then you have local, county, and city contracts. Let's just use an example. Let's say there are there's litter pickup contracts to maintain roads, right? And so there's some federal roads that run through the state of Georgia that are federal, that aren't necessarily considered state. And I'm guessing, I actually don't know. I'm assuming there's some federal roads that are considered federally mandated. Let's say they're on a military base or something. So I'm assuming those would be federal roads. I don't know. I'm guessing here. But let's say those roads have their own federal contract to maintain those roads. Then there's state roads, right? We'll see a state road number, whatever. You'll see a state road, and it'll usually say state road, or you'll see some kind of jurisdiction for it or whatever. But there's roads that are maintained by the state, right? And so they want litter picked up on their state roads. They would create a state contract for those roads. Then there's county roads, right? And so the county will create their own contracts for maintaining that county road. And then they have city roads, right? And so once you go in, you might be in a county, and then inside of that city, they'll have their own set of contracts for the city, right? So let's say you were in the city of Austell, and you were in the city limits, what we consider the city limits. The city will probably maintain those city roads, but as soon as you leave the city limits, you're in Austell still, but you're under Cobb County, right? And so Cobb County maintains those roads. And then there's going to be some state roads, and the state of Georgia will maintain those roads. Now, all I'm saying is that there's contracts at all of these different levels for the city of Austell, for Cobb County, for the Georgia roads, and more than likely for any federal roads that might be in that area. And there you go. All right. So that's pretty much how those contracts are found. You got to go to those, either the state and city website. You got to go to sam.gov, or either the county website. So it's all three different levels. But local would be considered city and county, just for clarity. All right. And now, what do you do once you find and find these contracts? Well, then you have to apply. You have to submit a proposal. You have to submit a proposal to win them. Submit a proposal. They'll tell you, hey, we're looking for this. You'll give them your price. If they accept it, you won the contract. And then, of course, you got to perform it. But that's basically an introduction to government contracts in a nutshell. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino is the Name. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you find any value in these videos, please get in the comment section. Let me know. But send these videos to your friends. Let's grow this channel. All right, we out. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. It's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the Name.